In the quiet coastal town of Stone Rosario in Pandan Antique lived a young boy named Floyd Barrientos. His world was not one of playgrounds and schoolbooks. Instead, his world was the vast, unpredictable sea. At the young age of 14, Floyd became a fisherman. He was not just helping his family, he was living on his own, a solitary figure against the immense blue horizon. His parents had to travel far away to Manila, the big city, to find work. They needed to earn enough money to send his older siblings to school, hoping for a better future for them. This left Floyd to fend for himself, with only the sea as his companion and provider. Each morning before the sun could even kiss the sky, Floyd would be awake. He would walk to the shore where his small sailboat, a traditional Filipino boat called a para, was waiting. This boat was his most prized possession. It was his home on the water, his tool for survival, and his only partner in his daily struggles. He learned to navigate the waters not from a teacher, but from experience. He learned the language of the winds and the moods of the waves. He had to grow up very fast, leaving behind the carefree days of childhood to face the responsibilities of an adult. His life was a cycle of hard work and solitude. The sea gave him food to eat and fish to sell for a small profit. This little income was just enough to buy rice and other basic needs. He had no one to share his meals with, no one to talk to about his day. The silence of his small hut was often broken only by the sound of the waves crashing on the shore. He missed his family deeply. He would often look towards the direction of Manila, wondering what his parents and siblings were doing and praying for their safety and his own. Despite the loneliness, Floyd developed a deep love for the sea. It was a relationship built on respect and understanding. He learned to identify different kinds of fish just by their shape and color. He knew the secret spots where the tulingan would gather and the right time to catch galunggong. The sea was his playground, his workplace, and his greatest teacher. He learned that to survive, he had to be as strong and as patient as the ocean itself. This early chapter of his life was tough, but it shaped him into the resilient person he would become. Life at sea was a constant, dangerous dance with nature. Floyd faced challenges that would make even grown men tremble. He steered his small para through powerful waves that threatened to swallow him whole. There were days when storms would appear suddenly, turning the calm blue water into a raging gray monster. Alone in his tiny boat, he would fight with all his might to keep it from capsizing. He would pull the ropes of his sail with his small hands, his muscles straining against the force of the wind. These moments were terrifying, filled with the roar of the storm and the fear of the unknown. His struggles were not just with the weather, but also with hunger. There were days when the fish would not bite, and he would return to shore with an empty net and an empty stomach. These were the hardest days. The hunger was a gnawing pain, a constant reminder of his difficult situation. He learned to endure, to save what little food he had, and to hope for a better catch the next day. Every fish he caught was a victory. It was not just food, it was a symbol of his survival, a reward for his courage and perseverance in the face of hardship. In these moments of extreme danger, when it felt like the sea would claim him, Floyd held on to his faith. He would pray to God, his voice a small whisper against the loud storm. He believed that a higher power was watching over him, giving him the strength to carry on. This faith was his anchor, keeping him steady when everything else was chaotic. He felt that his survival was not just due to his skills, but also a blessing. He was grateful for every sunrise he got to see, for every time he made it back to the safety of the shore. His bravery did not go unnoticed. Floyd became known in his village for his incredible skills in handling a para. He could make the boat glide through the water with amazing speed and grace. He even joined and won local para regattas or boat races, proving that his connection with his boat in the sea was special. These small victories brought him joy and a sense of pride. They were moments that reminded him that even in the midst of his struggles, he could find moments of triumph and happiness, powered by his skill and unyielding spirit. Years of hard work under the tropical sun left their mark on Floyd's body. His skin, once soft, became dark and leathery, tanned by countless hours of sun and sea spray. His hands, which once held toys, were now calloused and rough from pulling ropes and nets. His body, though still young, was lean and muscular, sculpted by the constant physical labor of sailing and fishing. He looked older than his years, his face etched with the seriousness of a life that demanded so much from him. He was a living testament to the phrase, "What doesn't kill you makes you stronger." His mind also changed. The carefree thoughts of a child were replaced by the practical concerns of a survivor. He was always thinking about the weather, the tides, and the price of fish. He carried a wisdom that was beyond his age, a deep understanding of nature's power and life's fragility. However, deep inside, he sometimes missed the boy he used to be. He missed the simple adventures of climbing trees and playing games with friends. His childhood was not lost, but it was intertwined with the immense responsibility of staying alive on his own. Music became his connection to the world beyond his small village and the vast sea. When he was on land, a small radio would play songs from the 1980s. These tunes became the soundtrack of his youth. The melodies of artists from that decade would fill his small hut, bringing a sense of comfort and nostalgia. Each song was tied to a memory, a good catch, a beautiful sunset, or the feeling of loneliness on a quiet night. Even as the years passed, hearing those songs would instantly transport him back to his days as a young fisherman. The sea became a part of his identity. He didn't just know the names of the fish. He felt like he knew their personalities. He would talk to them sometimes, giving them names as he pulled them from the water. It was his way of coping with the solitude, of creating a world where he was not entirely alone. These memories of the sea, the fish, the sun, and the music of the 80s were etched deeply into his soul. They were the treasures he collected from a life of hardship, more valuable than any material wealth. As Floyd grew older, the lines on his face deepened, each one telling a story of a storm weathered and a challenge overcome. He eventually left the life of a solitary fisherman, but the sea never truly left him. His body might have aged, and his strength might not be what it once was, but his spirit remained that of the young boy who fearlessly sailed the Pará. The memories of his youth were as vivid as ever. He could still feel the pull of the sail, taste the salt on his lips, and hear the powerful symphony of the waves during a storm. Now, in his retirement years, a new dream began to form in his heart. He no longer needed to fish for survival. His family was grown, and his life was more stable. Yet he felt a longing, a pull towards the sea that had been his first home. He dreamed of building another Pará, not for work, but for pure joy. He wanted to feel the wind in his sails one more time, to glide across the water, not with the pressure of catching fish, but with the freedom of reliving his most cherished memories. This desire was not about facing danger again. It was about reconnecting with the joyful parts of his past. He wanted to remember the thrill of the Pará regattas, the beauty of a sunrise over the water, and the simple satisfaction of a successful day. He wanted to sail along the coast of Pandan, not as a boy fighting for his life, but as a man who had survived and found peace. The sea was no longer an adversary to be conquered, but an old friend to be visited, a place to find solace and reflect on a life well lived. Floyd's story is a powerful reminder of the resilience of the human spirit. It is a tale of a boy who was forced to become a man too soon, who faced the immense power of nature with nothing but a small boat and a big heart. His wish to sail again in his old age is not just about nostalgia. It is a celebration of his journey. It is a final, joyful chapter in his epic sea adventure, a tribute to the boy who found his strength, his faith, and his identity in the embrace of the vast and beautiful Philippine Sea.